Let me ask you a question. How many times have you watched a video about biblical business ideas and you took notes, you were fired up, but then time passed and you did nothing about it? Not because you're lazy, it's not because you don't have the passion, but because nobody actually sat you down or actually gave you a blueprint to execute for change. Guess what? That ends today. I spent years in banking, in commercial lending, and I sat across the table from so many business owners every single day. And you know what I noticed? The people that got funded weren't super talented or something. They were just those business owners that understood what the funder was looking for. If you're a faith-driven entrepreneur watching me right now with a couple of business ideas in your notepad, this video is for you. The Proverbs 31 woman did not wait for a loan officer. She did not even have a grant application in place, but she considered a field and she bought it. And she also planted. But here's what nobody tells you about this verse. She invested first. She did her due diligence. She understood value, and that's what funders look for. All right. Here's the thing. There's a person watching me right now who has a business idea that you've been sitting on for months, maybe years. A skill, a gift, something people mostly come to you for. But there's this gap between the idea and actually launching it. And that gap almost comes down to one thing: money. How do I fund it? Where does the capital come from? What if I only have $50? What if I have nothing? I want to reframe that today. You see, in my work as a business consultant, working with entrepreneurs, helping them structure their businesses, prepare for funding, I see this all the time. The barrier is not mostly the amount of money available. It is always almost the preparation, the positioning, the structure. Most businesses get denied for funding way before they even apply. Not because the business idea is bad, but because nobody told them what the funders are actually looking for. So today we're doing two things. First, I'm walking you through 7 business ideas strictly from scripture. The same pattern God placed in his word for women way before entrepreneur was even a word. Secondly, for each one, I'm going to tell you the one thing funders want to see before they write you that check. Because here's what I believe. God just didn't give you the vision. He gave you the strategy. You just need to know where to look. Before we get into the 7, I need you to understand something about how funding works. In banking, we look at 5 things. I call them the 5 C's. Character, capacity, capital, collateral, and condition. But for the faith-driven entrepreneur, there's a 6th C, and that is calling. If you can demonstrate that this business isn't just about making money, that it aligns with a clear purpose, have the character to steward it well, you are already way ahead of other applicants. Keep that in mind as we walk through all the other ideas, because I'm going to show you how each one maps to what funders really care about. Proverbs 31:18 says, she perceives that her merchandise is profitable. The woman bought and sold goods. She understood value. She knew what people needed and she supplied it. Today, this looks like reselling, importing, thrifting, sourcing products people want, connecting them. You can start with $50 or sometimes less. Traders have an easy path to funding because you can demonstrate cash flow quickly. A funder wants to see margin between what you buy and what you sell. If you can show 3 months of consistent margin, you've already proven the model works. Exodus 35:25. Skilled women spun yarns with their hands. They built the tabernacle with those hands. Sewing, weaving, designing. This is not a side hobby. It is a calling with scripture behind it. If you can sew, design, or style, clients paying you $80 can become a steady stream of recurring orders. I've seen women build an entire income from one stream of skill. One sewing machine, one loyal client who told other friends. Funders want to see demand before supply. Have you pre-sold? Do you have a wait list? Even with 10 people that said, I would like to buy this, it's a data already. Show up with demand and the funding conversation shifts entirely. Proverbs 31:16. With her earnings, she plants a vineyard. She didn't wait for capital to fall down from the sky. She used what she had in her hands and planted what she will grow. And that is in line with farming, agriculture, production, because anything that starts little compounds with patience. Seed today, harvest tomorrow. What may look slow at first can feed an entire household for seasons. And this might be the hardest to fund traditionally because of the longer timeline. But here's the thing. Grants and agriculture programs exist for just these reasons. The USDA program, state-level grants, faith-based microfinancing. Funders want to see if you understand your seasonality. Have you projected cash flow through the lean months? If you can show that you've thought through the cycle, you are ahead of 90% of applicants. Now let me pause. Because you might be thinking, but Mallory, I do not have a business yet. I don't have a skill. I don't have anything to sell. Let's be frank, that's probably not true at all. If people already came to you for something, an advice, a receipt to help organize something, you have a business. You've just been doing it for free. These next 4 ideas are for you. Proverbs 31:20. She opened her hands to the poor. This woman feed people. She gave generously because she clearly has something to give from. Catering, baking, starting your own restaurant, meal preps. Feeding people is not just a service. It is a ministry with price tag attached. Food business has high margins, but also high regulation risk. Funders care about 2 things here. Your health permits are in order and you have at least 1 repeat customer pipeline. A church, a school, a weekly meal prep client. That recurring revenue is what makes a funder lean forward. Proverbs 31:26. She opens her mouth with wisdom. This woman taught. People came to her for guidance. If you have knowledge, experience, or a story that shaped you, coaching, teaching, mentoring, consulting, that is a business. I do it and you can. Your knowledge is not free. It is valuable. One conversation properly packaged can be more than a 4-day job you've outgrown. Service-based businesses are the easiest to start with almost zero startup cost, though the hardest to fund externally because there are no physical assets when you just get started and you don't yet have other tangible products attached like intellectual properties. So the strategy is a little different. You build your client base first, document your revenue, then approach funding from a position of proven demand. I do help service-based entrepreneurs secure funding by simply organizing what they already have. Exodus 31. God-filled bestseller with skills to make artistic designs. Creativity is not a luxury in scripture. It is a gift placed in people for a purpose. Jewelry, candle, art, soap, hand-making goods. If your hands make something beautiful, that is not just art. That is provision waiting to be packaged. Proverbs 31:27. She watches over the ways of her household. This woman managed, she organized, she plans, she brought order to her home. If you bring peace to disorder, event planning, organizing, virtual assistant, managing other people's chaos, therapy, that is a skill people will pay for. This is another service-based business. The play here is different. Instead of traditional funding, look at business line of credit once you have 6 months of consistent contract. But first, systems. If you can show a funder your client's onboarding processes, your pricing structure, your contract templates, you are no longer a side hustle. You are a business. Notice all 7 of these women, none of them started with everything. They started with what was close to them. A skill, a trade, a field, a craft, a home, a voice. None needed thousands of dollars to begin. Some begin with less than 100. Some begin with nothing but a skill and a willing heart. And here's the thing I really want you to hear. What funders are looking for across all 7 of these is the same thing God is looking for: stewardship. Can you handle a little before you are trusted with a lot? That's the real qualification. Not a perfect credit score, not a fancy business plan. It is, have you started? Have you proven you can move with what's already in your hands? Now I want to share something most people don't talk about. As a faith-driven entrepreneur, you have an advantage in funding that you may not even realize. When I worked in banking, I saw applications across my desk every single day. And the ones that stood out, they weren't always the biggest numbers. They were the ones where the person could clearly articulate their why. Why this business? Why now? Why them? And as a woman of faith, you already know your why. You already have a vision that goes way beyond profit. That story articulated clearly is compelling. It sets you apart from 50 other applicants who just want to make money. But here's where most people mix it up. They lead with a vision and forget the math. But the founders need both the vision and the numbers, the calling and the cash flow projections, the prayer and the profit margin. You don't have to choose between being strategic and being spiritual. The Proverbs 31 woman did both. She considered a field, that's strategy. She bought it, that's execution. And she planted with her earnings, that's investment. That's the model, that's the blueprint. So here's what I want you to take away today. 1, pick one idea from the list. Not the one that sounds most impressive. The one your spirit keeps circling back to. The one that quietly excites you. 2, start small. Not someday, not when you have more money, more time, or more confidence. Start with what's in your hands right now. 3, document everything. Track the demand, track the revenue, even if it's small. Because when you are ready to pursue funding, that documentation is what separates a yes from a no. You do not need a perfect plan, you need a starting point. God is not waiting for you to have everything. He is waiting for you to use something. If this spoke to you, if you felt that quiet nudge, stay close. I release new videos every Tuesday and Thursdays for that faith-driven entrepreneur who is willing to build with structure and fund what God has placed in her heart. I'm Mallory. I'm your finance and business consultant. And if you are ready to get serious about where your business is right now, I have a business readiness audit that I sent out. 22 questions that shows you exactly where you stand and what funders will see if they look at your business today. The link is in the description. Drop a comment and tell me which of the 7 ideas is the one your spirit keeps circling back to. I read every single one. See you Thursday.